Ladies and gentlemen, when I was a little girl, I had an imaginary friend, and when I grew up, he came back. He's called the Doctor, and he comes from somewhere else, and he has a box called the TARDIS that's bigger on the inside, and he travels anywhere in space and time, and I ran away with him, and we've been running ever since. For this is a Fred the Alien Productions podcast.
Woo! I had an imaginary
Yeah.
friend. His name was Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah. Cue the music.
We're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Finished. Playing in the dark. Huh? Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Conversation anyway.
Whoa, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm a Kendall Richardson.
I'm a Fulya and
And I got my head stuck out of the sunroom. Michael Lister.
And you are now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the mediums of preempted networking.
Nobody's gonna get that reference.
No,
No one. No
I need
one.
it for the 5%.
But it's
Only in this room.
any opportunity for us to plug the show to major corporations and
Oh yes.
plug. Yes, welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching or listening, we appreciate you all the same. Let's dive in as we do, starting with our weekly watchings. Fulya, please take us through your weekly watchings.
Yes. So I feel like I was watching a little bit more MASH this week. Just comfort foods and stuff like that.
Mesh.
And I've also been trying to keep up and I'm almost at the end of season 4 of The Rookie, which has been playing on the Netflixes. So I'm very close to starting season 5, so I can get through that and then get ready for season 6, which has ended already, but I really want to get into it because I'm really loving it. I'm really enjoying The Rookie, so it's really good. And then this week, specifically, Emily in Paris season 4 part 1 dropped onto Netflix, and I binged it pretty much in like 2 days. I say binge. There's only 5 episodes. It's a 10 episode season. That's how they do this particular show. So yeah, I managed to watch the part 1 of season 4 of Emily in Paris. Oh, damn it! I'm not jealous. Not jealous at all. Just there is so much romance, so much really nice fashion, and just drama. I'm okay without the drama, but it's very French drama. Let's just
Oh, French drama.
very French drama. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a really good rom-com, and yeah, it's good fun. It is absolutely good fun, and I would definitely recommend it if you like rom-coms. This is a TV show, so this is actually really good, and they're nice. It's nice that they're doing these episodes. The way they do it is they're only about half an hour episodes, which is nice. 10 episodes per season, so it's actually really good. But I can see why. The quality of this show is actually real, like S tier. It's so good. Mostly, especially because of the fact that they're filming all of this in Paris, and just the outfits that these people wear in, especially the character Emily. Oh my gosh, it's so extravagant, but it's really nice. Like, it's very pleasing to the eye. There are some that are a bit questionable because, the whole fashion industry thing, trying to stand out and all that sort of stuff. So Emily does wear some stuff that just literally just grabs your attention. She sticks out like a sore thumb sometimes. But but that's what fashion is apparently in France. So A lot of the times, the episodes will give us events that are happening, like really big sort of like party events and stuff. So there's always gonna be really nice sort of formal wear that we get to see and all that. I think we got a masquerade in this particular part 1 of the season, which was really cool. So I got to see all these people wearing really nice masks with their outfits, and I want to go to a masquerade ball, damn it.
Don't we all, Fulya?
I know, but this particular masquerade ball was to promote a product that was being sold through this agency. The agency's there for the marketing side of things, and so the way they marketed this, it was like a perfume, and the perfume was called Heartbreak, and they did this whole extravagant masquerade event for this perfume, and it was insane. A lot of content creators apparently were there. So,
so it's not like So it's not like Eyes Wide Shut party.
What?
I don't think she will get that reference.
Well, she should. She should watch that movie. It's quite amusing.
Don't know that I want to.
No, yeah, do Fulya. Yeah, I'm sure you'll love it.
You love cinema.
You seem so convinced that I'll enjoy that. Anyways, moving right along, I've also been continuing on with my watch of One Piece. Getting to sort of like the tail end of this particular new arc that I'm in at the moment in Skypiea, but there's still I'm gonna say there's still quite a few more episodes that I need to watch. But it feels like it's kind of near the end of it. We've only just got to the part where Luffy has finally come forth for the boss battle, essentially.
Again.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, even though he was lost for quite some time in ruins. I don't want to spoil anything because I know you're watching it, Lister, so you'll eventually get there. Eventually.
Well, after the sort of news, we're not going to talk about it in the news, but there's a couple of casting announcements during the week, and people are speculating the end of Series 2, the live action, is going to be when we first meet Chopper. So, essentially, I'm already up to date. So, why do I need to go back?
No, you still need to watch it.
I know. I just got other stuff to watch.
Yeah, well, true. Speaking of other stuff to watch, I did also watch. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about as well. I decided just going to sit down and watch this. It's a Studio Ghibli film I haven't seen, and it's called Whisper of the Heart. It's on Netflix, so if you want to check it out, you can. And it was nice. It was vanilla. It's really, really all I really wanted out of it. It was very sort of slice of life kind of film. Essentially, it's about a young girl who's in junior high, and she essentially she loves. She's kind of like you, Kendall. She loves fantasy. She loves to read fantasy novels. She will. I think she writes. She writes lyrics, song lyrics for fun. Like she does her own little parodies. The one song that is prominent in this particular film is what's it called again? Oh my gosh, take me home.
Country Road.
Country Road. That's I keep forgetting.
Wow.
Which is the next
Country
lyric.
Road. Country Road is the song they use in this film, and they actually wrote their own. Like these students wrote their own lyrics to this song for fun. It's actually quite sweet and really nice. And then they use it as like a theme throughout the rest of the film, especially for the credits. But she also comes across this. She comes across this cat that she runs after. She's always wandering around, having little adventures before or after school. And then I think there was a point where she like she's in the final year of junior high for herself before she goes into the next phase of high school, and she meets this guy who's in the same year level as her, and he seems to be quite mysterious because the way that she sort of finds out who he is, there's a person who's been checking out the same book as she has. So it's kind of a little bit of a sort of a teenage romance sort of a thing. This guy has been borrowing these books from the library, because back then they had the little cards and you could sort of see who's been borrowing what book before you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And so every time she picks up a book she's been reading, she sees this guy's name. Like, who is this guy? Finds out it's a student from their year level. And yeah, it turns out that she kind of likes him. She kind of likes him, but then finds out that he liked her first.
Oh.
No.
It was really sweet. It was really sweet and cute, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a good little film. I don't know why I haven't watched it until now, but it's
Yeah, there you
good.
go.
I like it. She does also, at one point, she had this thing for her she had a project. She's like, I'm not going to continue on with high school. This is what I'm going to do, but I'm going to give myself like a month or two to see whether or not I can do it. And only because of the fact that the guy that she met ends up going away to Italy for a couple of months to do kind of like a work experience to see whether or not he'd be good enough for the role. And the role he was really applying for was to craft violins, like handcraft violins.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's what he's been doing. So he goes away. They're both kind of like at that point where they're kind of close enough that they're gonna miss each other, and they already know they kind of like each other at that point. He goes away. She's like, all right, that's I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna see if I can do this. And her project is to write a fantasy story, a fantasy book, in that 2 months, and she neglects her studies, and her parents aren't happy about it. But they're letting her do it because she can't let it go. But yeah, it's a good sort of heartwarming story, and I really did enjoy it. So yeah, Whisper of the Heart on Netflix. Go check it out right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you,
A
Fulya.
total whisper of the heart.
All right, Michael, what about yourself? What have you been watching?
Not a lot really. Been having most of my time just. Well, this week is book week, so as you can see, I've got I got a Cinderella dress behind me. If you're seeing on the video, because my daughter wanted to dress up as a princess again, like we did Sleeping Beauty last year. And now it's Cinderella. So who knows what it will be next year. So, and hopefully we'll get a couple of mileages out of that as well. Maybe for Halloween. So we're talking Halloween as well. And I got some ideas too for myself. On my children's side, I've been rewatching a Disney show, animated show called Gravity Falls. I've been rewatching it again because there's a big the fans are sort of being hyped up again because the creator released a book about the antagonist, Bill Cipher. And it's the Book of Bill. So and there's a lot of mysteries and a lot of ciphers and a lot of things as well. So that's been a bit of fun. Just watching on the sidelines of people just deciphering like different things, and there's also a website that people can go to and put in keywords and all that. So that's a bit of fun. So I've been rewatching that again, and yeah, it's a really good show. Surprisingly, it only goes for 2 seasons because Alex Hirsch, the creator, only wanted to do two seasons and then out, and which is really good because people are just clamoring for more. And yeah, Disney is going, it's like, this is really good, can you do more? It's like, no, I don't want to, because that's the story that I wanted to tell. And yeah, much props for that. And dare I say, this like animated kid show sort of got me into got me into Twin Peaks as well, because there's a lot of elements from Twin Peaks that's actually in Gravity Falls as well as like Stephen King and all that. And I knew what Twin Peaks was. It was on the back burner of things to watch, and that sort of wanted me to watch Twin Peaks as well. So I watched Twin Peaks. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. Why didn't I watch this before? So good. Cinema and discovery, and just a lot of hidden gems in that. So, and yeah, so good. With that, I only watched like one new movie that I haven't seen before, because I was trying to find it. It wasn't in the cinema, and where I am, or when I started looking, and that's the indie darling of Longlegs, and that is a good film. That is such a good film. So simple, and it was so cheap to make. I think it was like $3 million that they had to like tinker with, and most indie films are mostly like 19 million to make. So very on the cheap, and so simplistic, and it was so effective, and just immerse yourself into what you're watching. It's like anxiety-inducing horror and creepiness. And Nick Cage being Nick Cage without even looking like Nick Cage. It was just great. I highly recommend it. Even you, Fulya, even though it's got like demon possession and all that. So yeah, I think it was pretty good. So good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's basically my week. It's just kids shows and a horror film that I can't wait to get on Blu-ray. just to watch it again and again and again. And I unfortunately had to watch it twice because it's so immersive, and it's so it harkens back to like 70s like horror movies where the takes are long and you're just immersed in this thing. And I was falling asleep because I was watching it at like when the kids went to bed. So I was like, I got work, and so I had to watch it twice. And it was great. It was great the second time because I actually got most of it. And also there's hidden Satans in certain scenes. It was great. It's like, what?
Nice.
That was a Satan. I highly recommend it. So, and that was basically my week. What about you,
Nice.
Kendall? Do you
Nice.
dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Got it.
Nice. Yes. I can't wait to watch Longlegs. I'm very excited. I'm glad you were able to see it.
I rented on Prime.
Okay, is it available for rent already?
It's on Prime for rent.
Hell yeah!
It was
Alright,
it was like $7, so I thought,
wow,
sweet.
Wow, Oh, okay, I thought it was still showing at cinemas. That's damn fast.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Yeah, it wasn't in Bendigo, so I thought, I wanted to watch it. It was one of the things that I wanted to watch, and I was like, where can I see it? It's like I hate doing the thing of doing like indie stuff like downloads, but I just wanted to see it, and I thought, well, I know
You're gonna buy it on Blu-ray.
It's a streaming service, and they're doing a rent, so it sort of goes back to the guy, but yeah, and so Yeah, you guys are at JB. You'll tell me when it'll be in.
I will let you know. Yes.
Yeah.
Or I'll let you know. Fully, or let you know. She'll process it. I'll put it on the floor.
And you'll get commission.
Yeah.
Staff
10
discount.
cents. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
My belated birthday is coming up.
Yeah. Early, or maybe it'll be Christmas present.
Yeah.
All right. My weekly watchings. I have been pretty busy this week, so I haven't really watched too much. That said, I did actually get to go to the movies twice. The first time was Monday night. Went to the cinema. I went to Acme in the city.
Oh.
Took myself to watch. Excuse me.
Acme is a place that I've always wanted to sort of check out for myself. I've never actually gone. I have walked past it quite a bit, but I haven't actually gone in.
Yeah,
But
Wiley
Coyote. Yeah.
I know that they
does all
always
these
have
stuff
like
there.
some really good exhibitions and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have,
Yeah.
and they have 2 cinema screens
Mm.
in there. So yes, so I got to see a movie at MIF, a second one. Because
Yes.
MIF's just ended, so
Mhm.
went and saw an Australian thriller. It's a sci-fi thriller. It was called In Vitro. Yes, it's about cloning. And it's very much a small cast, one location, sort of thing. Like it's this husband and wife. He's the scientist and she's working with him, and they're out on a farm and they're trying to clone genuine livestock because it's in the slightly near but distant future, where climate has resulted in the decline of cows and sheep and goats and just all that stuff. So they've figured out this technology to try and clone, like, instead of using artificial, like, they've recreated artificial meat, so humans can eat that and be fine.
That's
but
that's a real thing.
yeah, okay.
Cloning meat.
Well, it's
I'm
yeah,
guessing.
it's happened. It's in this movie, so
Okay, I'm sort of guessing which way they're going to take it, but okay.
yeah, you might. I didn't see it coming until just before the reveal because there's like a twist. Well, there's a few twists in the movie actually that were really really cool. But yeah, it was really good. Like it was a good simple, horror, like, thriller with a bit of horror sort of element in it, I suppose. But yeah, it was filmed really well, and yeah, the score was probably my favorite thing. It was a very, like, lots of heavy strings drawn out in like a really unsettling atmospheric type way.
Kind
And
of
the
like
fact,
Long Legs, really.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's got a lot of strings attached to
That
it.
doesn't that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the fact that it's set in like a rural farm area somewhere in Australia. Yeah. So, and then it's like the relationship between the husband and the wife, and then things just kind of get worse. Yeah, it was really cool. I would recommend, Mike, I reckon you'd probably enjoy it when it comes out. I don't think this is a Fulya movie, I will say. but it was really good. And it's like 90 minutes, like, quick, well paced, excellent sort of a piece. So In Vitro, that was good. And the other thing I went and saw, as I teased last week, I went and watched Alien Romulus.
Yay.
Hey, it happened.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Okay, it was good. It wasn't great. But it's probably the best Alien film we've had in a while, I suppose. For me, it felt like it couldn't be its own movie a little, because it was borrowing from a lot of the other movies. It was referencing a lot of the other movies, which was just, I get it. I mean, you want to pay tribute to this iconic franchise, and especially if the filmmaker seems to clearly be a fan of it, and like I get that, but I wanted something new and fresh that was like there had elements of that in here, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I enjoyed it. Like it's a good time. Like a lot of the alien work is practical, so it looks really good. And then they had to go and fuck it up.
Oh,
Oh,
how so?
man. How so? Well, let me tell you. I'm just going to spoil it because Fulya's not going to watch it. Mike's already seen it, and it's been out for a couple of weeks.
You've had your chance.
You've had your chance, yes, and it's all over the internet, and I don't know how I avoided the spoilers. But anyway, so they used technology to bring back a certain actor who is no longer with us.
Which one?
Yeah, which one? And that actor was the late Sir Ian Holm, who was in the original Alien film. He was Ash, the synthetic, who went a bit bonkers. Milky Boy.
Watch the movie and you'll get it, Fulya.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
But yes, they brought him back, and it wasn't Ash. It's his likeness, but a different android, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how they kind of get around it, because Ash dies, quote unquote, in the second movie.
No, first one.
Movie. It is in the first one.
Yeah.
No, that's right. They bring back Lance Henriksen's synthetic in the third one.
Yeah.
For a brief scene. Yes.
And
anyway,
Michael Fassbender has two of the same guy in
Covenant.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So it's been proven in canon that there's different models with the same likeness or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, my issue, a lot of people's issue is the fact that they've used a deceased person's likeness and for monetary gain or whatever they're saying. I don't think they're out to exploit it. I will point out that it was Ridley Scott's idea, and because of fucking course, it was Ridley Scott's idea. He's a producer on the movie. So that didn't surprise me when I heard that. But for me, it was two problems. One, he wasn't just a cameo; he's an actual character in the movie. They keep going back to him.
Wow.
Yeah, and the other problem, they didn't do a very good job. Certain angles, but even then, the only time it didn't take me out of the movie, and the only time it looked good is when he wasn't talking. I'm sorry. They did not do a good job of matching the top of his head with the bottom of his head. We've seen it done better in other movies.
Mm-hmm.
I would even argue Leia in Rogue One looked better, a little bit. But then again, that was only one scene. Tarkin was a little bit better, but Tarkin looked very much like a video game character, so that's a little different. It's not gonna age well. Let's just say that. So it took me out. I just was annoyed that it took me out of the movie. It could have been. It could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Ian Holm. It could have been, I don't know. It could have been anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah. That kind of ruined it a little for me.
I sort of had two things that they could have done. Either...
Yeah.
He's already a torso. So you could have, like half of his face missing.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yes. Yeah, they could have done...
To hide it a little bit more, and not, or maybe put it all animatronic, so it's actually real. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but even then, I don't know. I know. I mean, look, the important thing for people to be aware of is that they got the permission of his estate, of his widow, to actually do this, and the fact that she signed off on it. That there takes out the moral dilemma for me. So if she said yes, and she said Ian would have been thrilled to be a part of the project if he'd still been alive. So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. As long as they did everything by the book to do it, then that's fine. It's just the execution was not very good. Which is disappointing in a movie where they were like, oh yeah, the aliens are going to be practical, and then they did that. It just kind of, I don't know. Anyway, apart from that, there's one sequence towards the end of the movie that I thought was really cool. There's this thing in the movie where the gravity turning on and off is sort of a problem, and they bring that back around at the end, and they use it to escape the xenomorphs as they're coming at them. They turn off the gravity, so they're floating in the air, and then she shoots them all, and so their acid blood floats in the air, and then they have to float around it, so that way they can kill the aliens, get out, and not destroy the ship and die because of the acid melting
Acid eats
the metal.
through all of it. You would get it if you watched the movie.
Yeah,
Will
they
you
have
stop saying that.
Well, stop looking like, what are you talking about?
No,
Acid.
it's more of a, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's alien.
I mean, it's gross, yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't even talked about the other thing yet. But no, I like that sequence. That sequence was well done, visually arresting. The tension was there. It was just really, really cool. And I liked the actor. I think his name's David Johnson, or Jansen Johnson.
Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, Andy. He's a synthetic in this story, and he does an incredible job. He was the best for me out of a lot of them. And yeah, he was great. Yeah, so that sequence and the sequence in the elevator, there's an elevator shaft sequence that was really thrilling as well. And then the ending was crazy. I did not see the ending coming, but I had a feeling that they were going to do sort of a human alien hybrid again, because I saw when I was doing the run sheet for the show last week, I was combing through IGN to get my articles and news and whatever, and I saw an article that was talking about Alien, like just the franchise, and I can't remember what the title was, but in the collage of pictures, the main picture in there was of the human alien hybrid from Alien Resurrection, and I was like, I bet I'm going to see that. And I was right. But it looked
better.
Yeah, in the sense that obviously they've had 25 years to make a better model. And it was definitely creepier. It was very much like if Slender Man was an alien. Like, really fucking tall, really gangly, and then just, simply terrifying. There's a really good jump scare right near the end. That was really cool.
Oh, I hated that one.
Yeah.
Cheap. Cheap.
It got me. That was the only one that really got me. There's a few jump scares in the film because it is very much a horror movie. Yeah. Oh, and that's the last thing I will point out. Speaking of the horror stuff, it wasn't as gory / violent as I expected it to be. I will say.
It was more atmospheric.
And the visuals and the atmosphere were great. So, but anyway, yeah, if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll enjoy it. You'll get something out of it.
Yeah. Would you believe the hybrid at the end is actually a real guy?
Is it?
It is.
Oh my god. That kind of freaks me out a little because he's so skinny.
Yeah.
And clearly they must have put some, obviously there's some prosthetic work going on, but
it's a Romanian basketballer who's 7 foot tall, and he does look a little bit lopsided. So it looks like he has been stretched. So
wow, okay,
a real guy.
Well, kudos to him because he did a very good job. That was some terrifying stuff.
Can I also mention something that could have helped the Ian Holm sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
If they go into the other lab, when they went into the other lab, because there was Remus and Romulus, two Greek Roman mythologies, they could have had another synthetic in there to just key home the sort of brotherness of it. And they could have had Michael Fassbender as Adam. So they totally could have. So they could have conjoined the Alien franchise as well as the the other two.
Prometheus, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
and them talking to each other is like, I like that, but they didn't. So
Yeah.
so fuck them. Hate this movie. No, it was good. It was good.
No, it was. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. But that's all right. This franchise is a bit touch and go, but it's all part of the fun. It's all part of the fun. Speaking of fun, that's our weekly watchings. We have more show to show now, starting with the week that was in the nerdy news.
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
Okay. It is nerdy news time, and starting things off, we got some Marvel news this week, which is exciting.
And marvelous.
And marvelous, yes, quite marvelous. Yeah, this is kind of surprising to say, but James Spader is coming back. He's going to be voicing Ultron again. This time, he'll be returning for the upcoming Vision series that's in development at the moment. The working title is Vision Quest. Apparently, that's not maybe going to be the title. We will find out.
Maybe
in a couple
it
of years.
was Vision all along.
Yeah, they'll just keep changing the name every 5 months. It's fine
Until the internet goes, yeah, okay, that one.
Yeah, sure, we'll have that one. Yes. So he's coming back. Obviously, as we know, Ultron perished at the end of Avengers: Age of Ultron, where he was actually killed by Vision. So obviously he's going to be appearing in some kind of flashback, or maybe I don't know, or memory or something. I doubt they're going to bring Ultron back, because that would just be ridiculous. But yeah, something's going to happen. Something's going to go on, and he's going to come back. I'm glad that this is happening, but I also want to know why he didn't come back for What If then. If he's coming, because but this is still Ultron is still not a photoreal person. He's CG.
True. But why didn't Tom Holland come back to do What If?
Well, yeah, man. I suppose we could just ask every actor who.
What about RDJ?
Until
he came back for Doom, but he's not coming back to play Tony Stark.
But my point is that he was in a voice booth for Age of Ultron. He had to be in a voice booth for What If, and he didn't. Scheduling. He's probably still making the blacklist, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just salty about it because it would have been really cool to have him again. But that's okay. He's coming back now for the upcoming Vision series, which we still know nothing about. The only other bit of information we can share is that the showrunner of the recently ended Star Trek Picard, Terry Matalas, he's going to be helming the Vision series. And obviously Paul Bettany will be returning. So that's all we know. They're going to be filming early next year. So yeah, it'll probably be 2026 before we see anything of this. And we'll be well on our way to Secret Wars. Or sorry, not Secret Wars. Fucking Doomsday by then. So yeah. But anyway, I'm happy. I love James Spader. He's great. He's very talented, and it'll be really cool to hear him do Ultron again. Yes, I'm excited. Fulya, what do you think about this? Does this interest you at all?
Yeah, look, I mean, if we're gonna get Ultron the character back in some capacity, it's nice to know that we're gonna get the original voice actor of that character. So, good to have James Spader on the project. I would love to know what the heck's going on with Vision in terms of, what story are we going to be getting here? Why would Ultron be in this particular show and all that sort of stuff? But I guess we'll find out sooner or later, considering the fact that they're still currently in pre-production. So
Yeah.
We'll eventually get some form of news regarding the show at some point. So yeah, look, I'm all for it. But better than getting someone else. If he's able to do it, then then I'm good with that. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That is fair enough. What about you, Mike? How does this make you feel?
Pretty cool. That's how I feel. Pretty cool. That's not even a thing. Yeah, that's exciting. Coming back all this time, and considering Ultron is sort of like brothers, sort of in the same realm as Vision, because Ultron was part of Jarvis, and Jarvis is Vision, and Vision is Jarvis, and also Ultron as well. So, a couple of theories come into mind. Maybe Vision is looking for himself, so he's on a Vision quest of finding out if he's what sort of Vision he is, and in order to do that is going back into his subconscious, and maybe back there somehow is going on the Pinocchio route. His conscience is is Voltron. That would be interesting. Or Pinocchio becomes a real boy, so maybe it's Voltron in the flesh, and it's David Spader as him. Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking Pinocchio. He lies.
Yes. Well, there is the whole "there are no strings on me" from Age of Ultron. That was his whole shtick to Ultron back then.
He becomes a real boy. It's Vision becoming a real boy.
Yeah, they could do a whole Pinocchio thing. That's a very good point.
Yeah, so
that'd be cool.
The sky's the limit, and yeah, it's got me a lot more interested in Vision Quest now. When it comes out, if it comes out, if it's not on the chopping block.
Yes,
like Blade.
Like it's hanging on by a single fang at this point. Speaking of things on the chopping block, oh boy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, pour one out for the Acolyte. Unfortunately, we got the news. Yeah, Fulya is legit doing it. I love it. Fortunately,
I'll put the cap back on so I don't make a mess.
Yeah.
There
we go. We're all doing it. Paying our respects. Press F to pay respects.
F's in the chat.
F's in the chat. It's like the only gaming reference I know. Anyway, the Acolyte, yes, sadly, will not be returning for a second season. Yeah, very sad. But also not surprising, unfortunately, as well. The reason for the cancellation site just seems to be ratings. It just dropped off after the beginning, and then it peaked again for the finale. So people were interested to see how it was going to end, but apparently it wasn't enough. So we will not be finding out what happens to Osha and Chimera in their adventures together in the dark side.
That sucks. I was really looking forward to that.
That was the only part of the story I was interested in, obviously. That was I was really keen to see how their story was going to continue on. And just curious as to what the hell they were going to do with bringing Yoda into it. Of course, we got that Yoda tease at the end, and then the whole Darth Plagueis thing as well was just but apart from that, I guess they did tell most of their full story. I guess it did kind of wrap itself up. There was just obviously plans to keep going, so it's disappointing, especially because this is the first time a Star Wars show has been cancelled. Every other show has either been, yes, this is a limited series, or yes, this is going to have multiple seasons, and it's just keep it does its thing. So this is sadly the first one. So
Mm.
for that reason, I'm a little sad. But yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we talked about the show ad nauseum, and all of us expressed our issues with a lot of the writing and other things. But there was also stuff that was good to be found within it, like interesting different concepts and elements in regards to the Force that we really enjoyed, and the visuals were cool, and the stunt work, the lightsaber duels were some of the best we've ever seen in Star Wars anything. So it's a shame we're going to be losing that. So yeah, who knows? Guess I'll just write some fan fiction. It's fine. Fulia, how are you feeling about the Acolyte getting cancelled?
Yeah, look, I am a little sad about it. I was really looking forward to seeing what the season 2 would bring, especially with Osha and Chimere now together and sort of training together. So yeah, I kind of wish we got at least a second season, even if it was like a little like short, like the first season was. But yeah, look, I think the way that they kind of wrapped up the season anyway, it just leaves it to the imagination, I suppose. Now it's not like a total cliffhanger, but like you said, Kendall, like they did have it sort of open ended in a way for a potential continuation. But look, I don't hate the way that they ended it, but I'm also not happy that they ended it. It's like, yeah, nah, that's it. Bang. This is it. You're not getting any more. Like,
Yeah.
really? Like, I get it. Just by looking at, like, the popularity ratings on IMDb, it just wasn't the greatest. And I'm assuming that just in terms of they weren't the number of people that probably watched it wasn't the number that they were hoping for. Probably
No,
say.
definitely not. Especially
Yeah.
because Disney would have spent a lot of money as well
Oh,
making
yeah.
the show. So
Yeah.
definitely financial decision had to come into it. If people aren't enjoying what they're making, then that's unfortunately gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
How entertainment business works, I guess. So
Yeah.
It's sad, but like you said, not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising. Mike, what about you?
Yo.
How are you feeling about this news?
A bit miffed because it was exciting of where it could be potentially going with Acolyte Part 2, but I think we're not going to know until in the future because essentially it was an uphill battle to get people invested into this because it's taking place in an era of the Star Wars mythos that hasn't been touched on in live action, only in books and comics and all that. So the people who are really into Star Wars actually know similar of what's going on. And I think maybe, now this is just probably me coping or anything like that, but I think the Acolyte moniker is done because we were trying to find out who the Acolyte is, and that sort of is it was a good story from start to finish, and it sort of finished where the Acolyte is, and we know where these people are. So I'm sort of guessing they'll probably do a proxy second season, but they'll focus more on characters within this era of Star Wars, but somewhere else, like if we're going for the High Republic, so you can focus more on the Jedis and their plight and what's been going on with that, or and you can still have Plagueis and everything like that, and it's got nothing to do with probably like Mia and like the twins Osha. I can't remember. Mia and Osha sort of in the background and not necessarily the front line, but they're still there. So Who knows? You could probably jump ahead another 100 years, and then you can sort of have like the rise of the Empire of having Palpatine as well, like being around and having Plagueis, so you can sort of do it there. So yeah, there's hopes there. I mean, it's Star Wars. It's always hope. It's always to strive for hope, even in your dire straits. And yeah, I think people were doing a victory lap on this, like, quote unquote failing. It's still Star Wars. It's still going to keep on going.
Yeah, it's not the end of Star Wars.
You haven't won anything.
Yeah.
The only Star Wars TV show that has more than one is Mandalorian, and they finished at 3. And Ahsoka is getting a second series, but all the other ones, Boba Fett is only one, but it's still part of that Mandoverse.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be around, even if you don't like it for stupid reasons.
But yeah, who knows? The other thing is, though, like, even though they've cancelled the show, there is a possibility that they might just make it like a movie for just to sort of.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, The Acolyte was probably more slated to be a movie. Than a TV
definitely.
Show.
I can definitely see that.
Then you don't have to wait each week of something that, you're still pondering, where is this going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. Yeah, just like Star Wars, I still have hope.
Good.
New hope. Always hope.
Good. New hope. All right. We got one more thing to talk about in the news, just quickly. This kind of surprised me to hear this today, but apparently there is a legitimate chance we might be actually getting a 4th season of Ted Lasso, which I don't need, really, because they wrapped up Ted's story very nicely. But if it is going to happen, so far, it looks like there's 3 key players that are being brought in. And that is, of course, Hannah Waddingham, who played Rebecca Walton, Brett Goldstein, who was Roy Kent, and Jeremy Swift, who played Leslie Higgins. So 3 key players from the original run of the show. Jason Sudeikis not mentioned, but apparently this is part of their process for trying to get it greenlit, is that they're going through and negotiating contracts and deals, I think, with the actors, and so they're starting with the British ones, and then moving on to the American ones, that at least according to the articles that I've read. So yeah, the cogs are turning in terms of getting a 4th season done. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if how it pans out, if they end up putting it together. Apparently they're also getting a writers' room together, and looking to start pre-production on the show early next year. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else you need to do with Ted. Like, he went full circle. Like, he didn't end up, well, he went back to America, spoilers, but like, he kind of had his journey, and we went with him along on his journey. And I feel like if they're going to keep the show going, they might have to change the name of it, because I feel like it's probably only going to focus on Richmond, like the club and all the characters, or it could focus on what our main cast are doing after the series. I don't know. It was a definite ending with the end of season 3 for me. So I don't know. We'll see. As long as they get like Bill Lawrence back, and if Brett Goldstein is also writing on it as well, and Brendan Hunt, like, they were involved with the writing of the show. So if they're on board, then maybe it'll actually be decent and worth watching. But yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about this news. That's for sure. Mike, how do you feel about this?
Well, there was some word after the finale that they were thinking of, we could probably do spin-offs and not necessarily focus on Ted. So I don't know. Maybe go along that route instead of calling it Ted Lasso 4. I mean, name recognition is there, but you can always just call it Richmond. So it's just still the club and what they're up to now, and maybe have the odd, probably one cameo of Ted, of I don't know. Yeah, as I said, it's tentative at the moment and working out stuff. So it's still the rumor mill going on, and all we can hope is to have like a weird crossover between Ted Lasso and Welcome to Wrexham.
That would be wild.
Because there was one episode I actually watched that just for shits and gigs. And there was actually one episode in Welcome to Wrexham that that Jason Sudeikis was there. So and it said and had the little Monacan underneath saying Jason Sudeikis from that TV show, you know. It's not going to happen because it's Apple Plus and the other one is FX. So and Disney. So it's not going to happen, but we can only wish.
We can only wish. Yeah, that's great.
Or just have Ryan Reynolds just there for and Rob McElhenney just there. Just there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wrexham versus Richmond.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
That would be interesting. I don't know how the footy season happens. I don't know. Really.
No.
I'm not a sporty person. I just watch shows about sport.
Yeah.
I just admire the people because
yes,
that's how they live their life of having enjoyment out of something that I think is stupid. But who am I to judge? I'm not a sporty person, and my hips can tell. I have misaligned hips.
Oh no. No good.
I go to the chiropractor every month.
Oh wow.
Just so I can get realigned.
That's fun.
Old man disease.
Old man stuff. Yes.
Anyway,
all right. That's the nerdy news, guys. We're done. Which means now, as we do, we're gonna roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Yeah.
Alright. Starting this week's trailer park, we're going back to Middle Earth again.
And again.
Second week in a row. Yes, except this is our first official trailer for the upcoming Lord of the Rings anime film, which is called The War of the Rohirrim. I am quite excited to watch this. I found it kind of funny and I guess not so surprising that they started the trailer with footage from the Two Towers. Footage from the Peter Jackson trilogy of Rohan, of, Edoras, and getting everyone to be like, you remember this? You remember that? You remember that?
You remember how cool it is in live action?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's going to be animated. And it's going to be anime. And it's going to be set 200 years before anyone you knew about is alive. So, yeah, but anyway, I'm keen to watch this. It looks really good. The story doesn't seem to be too convoluted and complicated. It just seems to be an arranged marriage gone wrong that resulted in the death of a father, and then vengeance was sworn. And then we have a really cool female heroine in the form of Hera in this trailer, and she seems pretty badass, and I'm here for that. For sure.
Name Hera, last name Lynn.
But no, it looks really great. Like, this is the beginning of Helm's Deep, essentially. Because the king of Rohan at the time, his name is Helm Hammerhand. voiced in this film by Brian Cox. And
Oh, the
he's
professor.
Yeah, yes, that one.
Oh.
He's doing a very good job here by the sounds of it, and yeah, and it's gonna just be a story focusing on the men of Middle Earth at this time, earlier in the Third Age, and we're gonna get to see some elephants and some other creatures in there. There was one other I was going to mention, and it's already gone through my brain. Oh, one of the eagles. There's an eagle of Manway in this trailer, so that's pretty cool.
Where
Lots
are
of-
you?
The eagles. The ultimate Deus Ex Machina. Yes. So yeah, it looks great. It looks cool. I'm excited to see how the story's going to play out. The narration you were hearing in the trailer was Miranda Otto, who was Eowyn in the movie trilogy. So she's returning in that kind of proxy sense of like, sort of like how Jensen Ackles was in the Winchesters as Dean, doing the narration and stuff. Same kind of shtick. So yeah, that connectivity, I suppose, because Peter Jackson is I think he's a producer on this as well. So it's going to have his sort of input, I suppose. Yeah, so I'm excited. I don't think it's based off anything either from memory. I think this is a completely original tale. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, it should be cool to see. You know, we haven't seen Lord of the Rings done in animation since like the 70s, so, or the 80s, whenever the Ralph Bakshi movies came out. So I'm keen. I'm keen to check this out and see it on the big screen at Christmas time, just as Lord of the Rings movies are meant to be seen at Christmas.
And your
So-
first anime.
My
Maybe.
first, definitely not my first anime, but and definitely not my first anime on the big screen either. So nice try, nice try. But I don't blame you for assuming that.
Makes
About
an ass out of me.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Fulya, what did you think of this? As obviously a big anime fan and a sort of fan of Lord of the Rings a little bit. What did you make of this trailer?
This is actually not too bad. I kind of like the look of it.
Hey.
Is this your gateway drug?
No.
Sorry, your Helm's Deep drug.
My house. Yeah, no. It's still not going to make me watch, Rings of
My
Power.
TV show.
No.
That's okay.
But it's a nice sort of like, it's a nice little, it's a film that I can definitely sort of get my head around, and because there are animes that are sort of in this sort of style where it's like very fantasy heavy, a lot of sword play and of all of the like the heroes and the villains and whatever. So this is not new to me in terms of the genre of the anime, but because it's a Lord of the Rings story, I'm not the biggest of Lord of the Rings fans out there, but I'm still curious about this story and to see where it goes. It's obviously a little bit more darker than a lot of other animes that I generally watch, but it's really like, just in terms of the art style itself, looks really cool. I really like the way that the characters are animated, and just sort of drawn up in general, because the characters have a really nice aesthetic to them. And I'm not sure why, but it just really fits into that sort of like anime version of a Lord of the Rings. You can definitely tell. The other thing I will also mention, the fact that it's going to be a little over 2 hours. So, but most anime films roughly are about that, depending on the genre. When it's stuff like this, yeah, about 2-ish hours is probably the average when it comes to fantasy anime. But yeah, I'm curious. I'll check it out. It's an anime, so I don't think I'm gonna hate it, but well, I hope not anyway.
They'd be doing something wrong if they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
yeah, and I think Peter Jackson is he producing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that he's on the project, obviously. So
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Fulya. Mike, what did you think of this?
I'm excited about this. Yeah, I don't really watch much anime movies. I'm more of a TV guy because I like that long form animation. And yeah, I like Lord of the Rings, and this is going to get me in the sweet spot. And yeah, it's just the trailer showing is like, remember the movies? This is another story. Hope you enjoy it. From Peter Jackson, and none of that Power of the Ring bullshit over there in Amazon.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Fights, so many fights.
No fighting.
Anyway, no fighting between the children. Anyway, and yeah, Peter Jackson doing his thing, and will this lead into that? No, they're doing a live action Gollum, so that's gonna be weird. Anyway,
Yes.
I love the art style. It looks very stylized, and it just looks enjoyable. And just yeah, I said it before and I say it again. I wish the Zelda movie looks like this, but it's not going to be. It's anyway, follow in the same vein, but who knows? Yeah. Anything else? It looks like it is like a sort of simple premise. What the trailer is, and good, really. I mean, if you're going to go into a different avenue within a story that people sort of know, the Middle Earth adventures, why not have something sort of similar, like a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing, but Juliet has agency, so. And you can just hear him. It's like, yeah, women's not supposed to be like this. The princess is supposed to be blah. Shut up. It's fantasy. You can do whatever you want. Shut up. And being a long form, over 2 hours, I'm going to enjoy this. So when is this coming out?
Yes, well, we do have an Australian release date for Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. It will be out in theatres on the 12th of December.
Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Reminds me of all the other Lord of the Rings. And hopefully there will be an extended version. Go with my other extended.
3.5 hours, yes.
Hey, for an anime, that'd be really cool.
Indeed, it would. Okay, our next trailer, completely different. This is an A24 movie, which excites me. This is our first look at Y2K.
I remember that.
Yeah, we all remember that.
Sure.
Everyone was freaking out when all the clocks and the computers were gonna move into the new millennium, and they all thought the systems were gonna crash because of running out of numbers and all this stuff, and
nothing happened.
It
We're
was
still
actually
alive.
fine. Yeah, we're still fine. However, this movie is going to explore the what if the world actually did end on New Year's Day 2000. Mike's very happy about it. Fully is not happy. I
love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I think this is a fun kind of what if horror movie, centered around a group of teenagers, celebrating their New Year's. And yeah, and I'm really happy with the cast. Because we've got Rachel Zegler, we've got Jaden Martell from the It movies, and we've also got Julian Dennison from Deadpool 2 and Hunt for the Wilder People. Really cool to see them. So yeah, great cast. And yeah, it looks fun. It just looks stupid and silly. It kind of looks a little bit like this is the end, in a certain sense, only because I say that funnily because Jonah Hill is a producer in this movie, and he was in that. So that's kind of funny. But no, it's going to be fun for like. It's just kind of weird to me that this movie takes place in 99 going to 2000, and it's a period piece. And we were kids then, and it's just kind of blows my mind. So it's going to be very nostalgia driven, that's for sure.
Especially the technology.
Yeah, heaps of 90s tech stuff, and I kind of liked how the technology is amalgamating itself into sort of anthropomorphic designs, and talking and stuff. And yeah, it just looks bonkers. It looks fun. It looks silly. Horror, comedy, coming of age movie at the end of the world. I am definitely going to be watching this. I'm willing to bet money Fulia is going to say no to this one, but let's check in with Fulia for her thoughts. What did you think of the Y2K trailer?
It looks shit.
Tell us what you really feel.
Yeah. That's how I really feel. It looks stupid, doesn't look fun at all, and I hate it.
I hate it so much.
It looks like shit. It like even the CG looks crap. I'm sorry.
What's CG?
Yeah,
It's
what's CG? This
guy
is
in a
not going to
computer
age
suit.
well. This movie's not going to age well at all. It doesn't look that great. Anyway,
Give it a stitch.
let's not make. I don't want to yuck your yum, but I have anyway. So just
Too
go
late.
ahead. Go ahead. Just go do your thing.
I don't
I'm
want
just
to
gonna sit
yuck
here.
your
I'm gonna
yum, but
sit
I
here and
did
just
it
relax.
anyway.
I'm not gonna watch this anyway, so it's fine.
It's
Moving on, Lister.
Yes.
You looking forward to this? I'm assuming
Yes.
you are.
Yes, I am. Yes, this is my yum. And I'm going to have a good time. Yum, 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 yum. Eat all the popcorn. Yeah, this just tickles my funny bone. Because, yeah, we were children during this weird part of history. Having said that, I do remember like being up late at a party that that all the parents were around, and it just comes to terms as like, yeah, we sort of were at a this is the end of the world party where I was, because the Venn diagram between people who thought this was going to happen and people who are sort of highly religious sort of met in the middle with this party that I was at when I was well, what was it? Yeah, I was like almost 12. So I was 11. So it was, yeah. And I remember distinctly coming back home and turning on the computer to see what happens. The old shit. You know, the old computers.
Yes.
That we didn't have a computer room.
Things.
It was in the dining room, because that was because you didn't have a computer room like
No.
this. Right
It was
now.
either in your bedroom or if it was in the living room.
Yeah, the big chunky boy. I turned it on, and I thought, okay, computer's still running. Turn on the internet, and all that. What can I do? It still works. Okay, I'm going to bed. So, I'm pleased as punch of having an alternative history movie like this. Yeah, it looks cheesy and dumb and stupid. And yeah, coming of age story as well. Cool.
And hey, you get a coming of age story in a horror.
A lot of them are.
It makes no sense.
A lot of them are, Fulya. You would actually understand that if you watched a horror movie.
I'm sorry, it's never going to happen.
What's this, Halloween? Why are we following these kids babysitting? What? I know what you did last summer. A bunch of kids killing a guy in the middle of a highway.
Get out of your head. What like?
Scream. What are these high schoolers being afraid of a killer on the loose? ... I was going. Sorry, just lost my trail of thought about it.
Coming of age story.
Yeah. No, not just that. All the people that are in it. I actually quite like the people that are in this, and happy to see them coming back because I'm a big fan of the It movies. Second one was it was okay, but the first one was like just great, and I loved it. And we get Bill Denbro's back, doing his thing. So
Yeah.
hopefully not with a lisp this time, and not mourning over his dead
Baby brother. Yeah.
who's not floating in a sewer.
Yeah.
Time to float.
Georgie.
Speaking of which, my wife went to see the Crow
Crow.
remake.
Yeah.
She liked it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Okay. When is Y2K coming?
Well, for this one, we
Trick
don't...
question. It already came. It was in 2001. 2000.
2000. We don't have an Australian date yet for Y2K. It's going to be in theatres in the United States, however, on the 6th of December.
Okay.
Okay.
It
Watch
could
this
have been
space.
like a New Year's movie.
I know, so close. They
Yeah.
literally... They should have released it on Boxing Day.
I don't think
and
they
then...
wanted to cause any more distress. Maybe that's
And
why.
and then they can say 25 years in the making.
That would have been funny.
Yeah. I'll be on
no.
the marketing team. I can market this. I
You
love
can
this
do
movie.
this.
You
You're
can
great.
do this.
You're great. Okay. Excellent. We've got one more trailer to talk about, and that is for a movie called Good Rich. This is a Michael Keaton, Mila Kunis family drama film. Michael Keaton's playing the main character, and he seems to be going through it. With a few things. His wife's checked herself into rehab, and looks like he has to raise his kids. They make it clear in this trailer that he has young kids that are still in primary school, probably. And then he also has Mila Kunis, who's an older daughter, who's obviously about our age or a bit older. Yeah, and that dynamic and stuff, and she is watching her childhood play out again in these kids who he's busy with work, he's never around, and it's this big thing going on. They did show a lot of the movie in the trailer, one of those ones, but that's fine. It didn't put me off. I might watch it. I might watch it on streaming. I don't think I'll go to the movies and see this one. It didn't grab me like that intently. But if it goes to Prime or Netflix or something, then I'll probably give it a watch, just because Michael Keaton looks like he's giving a good performance, and he's always a great actor to watch on screen. I don't think he's ever really given a bad performance, to be honest. He kind of gives everything to every character he plays, so I'll pretty much just watch it for him, which is cool. But yeah, it looks all right. Like, it doesn't look like a bad film. It looks just like a harmless, sort of heartwarming family story. Yeah, we'll see if it's any good. Fulia, what did you think of this?
I feel like this is gonna be one of those sort of emotional type movies.
Yeah.
Especially the whole, the father-daughter sort of relationship. And yeah, look, the Andy Goodrich, who is Michael Keaton's character, that those young kids are in his second marriage. Mila Kunis is the daughter that he had from his first marriage. And it looks like it's something that he gets because because his second wife has checked into rehab. Unfortunately, he's now left with the kids to look after, who are still, like you said, like primary school sort of age, maybe kindergarten even, and yeah, and sort of leans on his first daughter Grace, which is Mila Kunis's character, to help him out essentially. And I can sort of see that it's definitely going to be very emotional. There's going to be some highs and lows. But it also looks like there's, there is some light humor in this as well. But yeah, I've never really watched many. I don't even think I've watched. Have I watched a Michael Keaton film? I'm not quite sure actually. I might have to look into that. But if I do decide to watch this, I'm probably going to be like you, Kendall. I'll probably watch it on a streaming service of some sort, because I don't want to see myself crying in a cinema.
Boo.
Because this is gonna kind of hit me in different ways.
In the
Just 'cause,
feels.
Yeah, 100% it's really gonna hit me. So I know that I don't want to be. I'd rather watch this by myself.
Yeah,
Essentially.
that's fair. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I start getting emotional,
Michael, yes.
Yes.
What did you make of the trailer for Goodrich?
It looked quite charming. Sort of a unique premise that this family dynamic would happen like nowadays. So like dwelling into that aesthetic. It looks pretty simple and yeah, it will be a feel good, feel bad movie and dealing with like either the trauma of your father. There's Mila Kunis's journey, seeing your father actually becoming a father, even though he wasn't really a father back then because different divorce. He was a divorced dad, so he probably wasn't there like most of it, and so yeah, and you can sort of see that. But having a father, like coming to terms of it's probably never too late to become a good dad, even if your first child is in their 30s, and it's that generational trauma and generational divide, and there's 3 generations really in this, even though the 2 generations are the same, even though there's a 25-year age gap, which is it's new age. So it's 2024. Families come in all different shapes and sizes and tastes and colours. So it looks charming. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch this in the cinema, but it'll probably be a good movie on the streaming, like just watching it by yourself. But yeah, I'm sure if I show this to my wife, she's like, "Oh, this looks really good," because yeah, she knows Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice and Batman. And
yeah, I was about to say I'm just having a look at his list of films and stuff that he's been in. I just realized there are some things that I have seen him in. I just my brain just didn't recall them straight away.
Yeah, the classic Mr. Mum. Or was that the cloning one. He was in that one. He was like a clone of a clone, and
Oh. What movie
Dave
was-
Squared or something. I can't remember.
Hang on, I'm Googling it.
Google it. I'm going to talk about the writer-director, because this is an interesting thing, because I've never heard of the director, Haley Myers-Shara. Yeah? Yes?
Multiplicity. That's
Multiplicity,
the name
that's it.
of the clone movie.
Yeah.
Which, yes, I think. Hang on, am I seeing the right person in this poster? That's going to be very funny. Andy McDowell is in that movie too. So, full circle moment. Anyway,
Full
go
circle.
on.
Speaking of full circle moments, Haley Myers is. This is her second movie, and that's why I haven't really heard of her. But coincidentally, she's a child actor, and she's in
Oh.
2 films that you talked about last week, Kendall.
Yes, I know. I know who. I recognized her name in the thing because of her hyphenated last name. I didn't realize she was also an actor, but I knew who she's the daughter of. But yeah, go on. You can reveal it.
She was a child actor in Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Part 2.
Hmm.
And also Parent Trap and What a Woman Wants, but we don't talk about that one. Well,
Yeah, she's Nancy Myers, and I forget the other person's name.
Annie Banks, it's
kid.
got here. Lindsay
Lindsay. Okay. Cool.
in Parent Trap. And also Girl at Lunch Counter of... Anyway.
Starring role. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's from a lineage of filmmakers in America, so yeah, she's getting her start in, and only 1 year older than us.
There you go.
What have we been doing with our lives? But come on, she's a nepo baby, so stab. Looks good, but won't see it. So when am I not going to see it? Or when are we collectively not going to see this film? Kendall?
It's a shame, really.
we will see this maybe on streaming. But if anyone would like to go see Goodrich in the cinema, they can do so on the 21st of November.
Oh.
All right. Well, that brings us now, of course,
Yes.
to the time, the
Whoa.
place, the section, the spot, the thing, that segment in the show we like to call
Pop culture talking who.
My thing's busted.
Oh no, your
Your
screwdriver's
son-
not working.
Yeah.
I need a
damn.
screwdriver for my screwdriver. Oh, the irony.
Oh, the irony. Yes, it's time for some Talking Who, because we are here again this week to discuss our thoughts on the beginning of Series 6 of Doctor Who, which are the first 2 episodes, double-parter, The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. Cool. So, Impossible Astronaut. Yeah, this was a very good beginning. In fact, I'll just quickly say I really enjoyed both these episodes. I thought they were very well done. And yeah, this first one really kicks the story off in a really exciting way, and there's lots of really great time travel stuff going on, and certain actors popped up, and I was like, oh, I know them. Oh, I know them. So I love when that happens. We'll talk about that, of course. But yeah, and just lots of immediately River Song's back in the fray, and I'm loving that. And we get to find out some things that were set up at the beginning of Series 5 that are now being paid off a little bit here, which is interesting. I wouldn't really expect something like that to get paid off now at the beginning of a season. It feels very much like a finale situation, but maybe this isn't the last we've seen of the certain characters we're going to talk about. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It's Doctor Who. Anything can happen. Anything's possible. Time travel. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching The Impossible Astronaut. How about you, Fulia?
Yes, so yeah, Impossible Astronaut. That was an interesting rewatch for me. Just cause I pretty much like the silence, I forgot. And then while I'm watching it, I remembered, and but no, I promise I haven't forgotten again, so it's fine. Yeah, no, it was really interesting. The fact that they have to travel all the way out to Utah, in America, in the middle of nowhere. They all got invited, and yeah, it's just it was really like when the shooting happens.
Wow.
I know.
That was
Yeah, look,
unexpected.
very
Cold-blooded.
unexpected. And my brain went to, I wonder how Kendall's gonna think of this.
Yes, everything flooded back. I was like, oh,
Oh,
this is this series.
yes, pretty much.
I have a lot of concerns, but it was good.
I was gonna say, what was your initial reaction? When you
yeah, no, I was shocked, but I wasn't like, well, at first I was like, oh fuck, he's gonna regenerate. What's gonna happen? And then, oh no, he's just dead now. I'm like, oh, cool, great. How is he gonna get his way out of this one?
This
Because
one, right?
we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. And there's
Yes.
lots of things going on here, and
Mm.
I'm guessing that's going to be a thread that will now carry through the fact that the Doctor's going to die eventually, or maybe not. I don't know.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Spoilers, sweetie. Ooh. Exciting.
Yeah. So the
Yes.
Impossible Astronaut was pretty good. And it was it's always an interesting way to start off a season when something as dramatic as this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Mike, how did the rewatch go for you?
Yeah, it just went so quick. It was like, whoa, slow the frig down.
Yeah.
And,
It is a very, very fast-paced episode.
and
both of them.
everything floated back. It was like, this is the reason why I sort of fell off. It went
Oh,
too
boy.
quick. I can't keep up. I might have to wait until the next Doctor.
I'll be
Just
back.
things shake up. Yeah, but having the rewatch and knowing what's going to happen, but it was great to see, like, the little snippets of like stories that we don't get to see, but you get to see them in this sort of little window of a montage, and the Doctor is trying to get Amy and Rory's attention. Because they're a married couple now, and they've got their own house, and they're living their lives just with the idea of, we got this eccentric friend who's gallivanting off into the time sphere, and then they get an invitation, and then we get all these other invitations and coming together. And we need to come back to. We need to go to America, the land of the free and the colonic irrigation. And what's really great is, behind baseball, the Doctor Who now is sort of getting really popular in the States now, and the BBC are now partnered with BBC America, so they're getting a bit more money into the production side of it. So in order to start off with a big bang, why don't we set this all in America? Except we actually go to the places, and it looks a whole lot different than what we've seen seen in Doctor Who. We actually go to the desert. We go to all these areas around America, and especially in the start of next episode that we're going to see, not to spoiler it, but we get to see the Hoover Dam and all these other
iconic locations.
Iconic locations. So money is on screen now. Doctor Who is big. Doctor Who is now being at Hall H at Comic-Con now. Well, it's always been, really. I think it sort of started in Tennant's era, like later half.
Right.
And it was getting big, and it was getting bigger and bigger. So started off with a bang, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice. All right. Speaking of starting things, I want to get something out of the way first, and
Something off your chest.
And yes, the intro. I teased it at the beginning of the show. Amy Pond's little narration, catching everyone up on who she is and her adventures with the Doctor. Very much I think of the time thing, because around the time these episodes were coming out, a lot of the CW shows were doing this. A lot of serial television were doing these little intros of like, I'm this person and this is my story sort of intro thing before the credits. It kind of felt really jarring for me watching that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'll obviously ask you in a second. Obviously they don't keep doing that because I've seen episodes beyond this season. So yeah, I wonder why. I'm guessing they were just in the zeitgeist at the time, being like, what can we do to kind of, and like as you just said, Mike, like if the show's getting big in America now, and they've actually started this season off with a big American location, takes place all in America, filmed in America, that maybe that's just their way of getting in new viewers, being like, this is the situation. This is who I am. I'm a companion and I travel with the Doctor and things happen. So I guess it's fine, but I don't know. I didn't like it. It just felt out of place. It didn't feel Doctor Who to me. It just very much feels like of that era of television. Fulya, what did you think about Amy Pond's intro?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm glad that they didn't keep up with it, because that would have drove me nuts.
It's the skip button.
And if they keep on going on with it, it was just getting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah. I'm Amy, and I'm Rory, and I'm fucking every other companion that I can't think of the name of afterwards. Yeah.
Clara, Bill. And then the fam.
And the family comes in.
I don't know. I don't remember whether I was a fan of that or not. I think at the time I just went with it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. And especially considering I was also very new into Doctor Who at the time as well. Like my first sort of when I was first watching it, it was the first time getting into this sort of like sci-fi sort of a show. And when that intro came up, I don't remember if I hated it or if I loved it or if it was cheesy. But looking at it now, I was just like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Gave you the option.
Yeah, exactly. It gave me the option. For the first episode, at least, I watched it through up until the point where it went into the main intro. But then when the second one started up, I'm just like, nah, skip. I know. I don't need this. Yeah, look, it is kind of cheesy that they did that. But I feel like, given what you've just explained, Kendall, about it only newly sort of getting more American viewers, I feel like this was their way in, and it was probably going to be one of the only ways to get more American viewers at the time to be more invested in it before they could go back to the original, without that intro. kind of a thing. And maybe they were also just testing it just to see whether or not it would work for them. But, you know, glad that they didn't continue with it.
Yes, me too. Me too. Mike, how did you feel? I'm really curious to hear your opinion about this little thing that they did.
Yeah, bit jarring.
Yeah.
First time watching, it's like I know I know this.
I was there.
I was there. I was there from the beginning. Been watching Doctor Who since VHS, motherfuckers. Anyway, yeah, it all to do with the production side of it because Stephen Moffat wanted to make this season a bit different from last season, of having it a bit more serialized and having lots of different elements within each episode to actually deal with, be a more linear storytelling within the season. So it would, in order for new audiences and also reoccurring, to have this as the sort of thing that's actually happening. Like you said, like the CWs, which I've never seen a CW show in my life. I'm not going to start now. Haven't got the time because it looks dumb. Anyway, maybe Flash. If I got time. If it's not too dumb. Barry Allen. What was I talking about? Yes, and so Stephen Moffat wanted to make it more like those sort of American shows where continued story. But I will say there are episodes in this season that aren't linear. You can actually take them out, and it's got nothing to do with any of the overarching story of the impossible astronaut to the death of the Doctor and all these different sort of questions going on, like who's okay, spoilers for the next episode, but we're putting them all together. Who's the little girl? Who's the impossible astronaut? Is the little girl, sorry. And also what's going on with Amy and all these irons in the fire, and also having an overarching solid having the story of the silence as well within the thing as well. So yeah, so not to spoil it, but this is the last time until Flux they do an overarching series story. So you could probably tell what was the overall reaction to this whole season. So it was good, bad, different, but we'll talk about when we get up to those sort of elements. So yeah, and the sort of recapping at the start doesn't last, which is good. I think it was, I can't remember, but I think this they don't do it until the middle of the series or just the first two, just so people can be up to speed. But it's amusing. It doesn't feel like Doctor Who to me, but it doesn't last long. So I'm here nor there.
No, fair enough. Okay, well, we've kind of already talked a little bit about the beginning of this episode where, you know, the Doctor dies. But yeah, it was a really, the way that all the characters reacted to it. No surprises, Amy's the most emotional. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Amy. Yeah, but no, it was good that like they had River there to kind of be that other person, that more experienced person to go, no, once they all get their letters and then come and meet up, and then the doctor actually sent a letter to himself saying to come and meet at this location and all that stuff. But obviously they can't tell the Doctor about, you know, what actually happened, because they'll break the universe again. Yeah, that kind of creates some cool tension, and I like that. Yeah, I like that River Song comes in as this person who's gonna keep everyone's heads on and not have people like Amy do anything irrationally, even though the entire 2 episodes she's just basically like fumbling through. I mean, yeah, she clearly loves the Doctor and doesn't want anything to happen. You know, like she's, the fact that he dies destroys her a little bit. You know, she's very like, there was a really harrowing moment where she's like that, you know, listening to Rory and River talk about what to what to do now, what to do next, you know. And then Amy's just like, what's the point? He's dead. We can't undo that. We can't do anything about that. What's it matter? Like, why are we even having this conversation? So yeah, so it's very, yeah, the way they all react is very interesting. But I do like sort of the mystery of it, and how, you know, it all kind like the fact that like Amy sees the, are they collectively the silence and then singularly silent?
Yeah.
I guess.
No, still
No?
silent.
Is it silent or silence?
The silence.
Silence. Okay.
Yeah, silence.
So calling them the silence. Okay. But yeah, she sees one of them, and then we get that first hint of, oh, something's up, and then the astronaut appears, and it's all very, what the fuck's going on? But I kind of like how that sort of sets up the antagonist for the 2 episodes. Very, at first, very sort of unassumingly, but, you know, unsettlingly at the same time. And then with the astronaut being just walking out of the water and shooting the Doctor and then walking back into the water, like, okay, fine. Yeah, Fulya, do you have any thoughts on any of that? Like any other stuff about the intro, like the opening, the way things get going with the story, to say?
They sort of opened it up. It was a bit kind of ominous, just the way that, you know, they've all been invited out for a picnic, just out in a random spot, and yeah, it's really interesting. And then just sort of seeing the Doctor just on the hood of a car with his cowboy hat. That was fun. Instead of the fez, it's a cowboy hat.
He loves a good hat.
I know, he really does.
He's just like, they're cool. Like, they're cool now.
It's his favorite accessory. It's a hat.
It's
apart
very
from the
funny.
bow tie.
Yeah. Bow ties are cool.
Bow ties are very cool.
Whatever.
Anyway,
very funny.
Yeah, so they're just sort of like, they're hanging out, you know, and just sort of enjoying the day. And yeah, like, I know that, you know, Amy sort of looks into the distance and all of a sudden sees the silence, but she has no idea what's going on. And then she's sort of mumbling to herself while she sees it. But then when she breaks contact with it and then comes back into the conversation, everyone's staring at her like, "You okay, Amy?" And Amy's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?" So it's like the immediate sort of cut off of, oh, it's almost like someone stares into space and then just sort of comes back, you know? Because I have those moments sometimes. I just stare into space and then I come back and I'm like, oh, what's happening?
That's the silence.
It's the silence. I'm seeing the silence when that happens.
Quick, get your Sharpie
Get my
out.
marker. Start marking my face.
Surely you can't see it on your face.
Why am I using invisible ink?
No. As in, not to gripe about a nitpick, but if you are noticing something and you're doing it on your arms and legs, why do it on your face when you can't see your own face?
I mean, you look in the mirror, no?
Is there a mirror on hand?
Yeah, I will agree that was a weird little thing.
But
Maybe
still.
they ran out of spaces on the rest of their bodies, so they just like stuck it on the face. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know the context of that, but anyway, yeah, this whole sort of opening sequence does sort of, it really does grab your attention. It's like it's sort of, it's very unassumingly safe and good, and then all of a sudden it's not, and it just instantly shifts.
Yeah, you get
the
thrown
tone.
into it.
Yeah, essentially got you thrown into the deep end of that lake that they were having a picnic at. So yeah, it was a good sort of way to open up this two-parter, setting everything up, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, any other comments on the way the story kicks off?
Yeah, and I'll go a little bit further as well. One of my favorite scenes is at the start where the Doctor and River are comparing diaries, and I really enjoy that sort of dynamic when
I love
time
that.
travelers aren't meeting exactly at the same time as their own timeline, so they're trying to figure out where they are so they can watch what they say, and all throughout these two episodes, River knows a lot more of what's happening than what she leads on with the Doctor. So that's an interesting dynamic to have within the story of a character actually knowing a bit more than the actual main group. So I do like that one. Yeah, it this is where everything gets thrown into the story with the astronaut coming out and shooting the Doctor, and he starts to regenerate, and having the fact that if you shoot a Time Lord again in the middle of a regeneration cycle, then everything is kaput and no more. Then that's the end of the Doctor or the Time Lords, and we get to meet our first character of these two episodes, Clayton, Delaware. Such an American character.
Canton Everett Delaware the Third.
Yeah, whatever. American mumbo jumbo. Well, we see an old man.
Yes, yeah. I like that we get to meet him out of order as well. That's kind of fun because he says to them, "You'll be seeing me," before he goes. So yeah, and then we end up getting to meet him after I just have to quickly say a very funny moment on the TARDIS when Amy's wanting to tell the Doctor and River's like, "No, you can't tell the Doctor what's going on," and then they're all downstairs and he's upstairs and he's like, "I'm doing some really smart, clever, cool stuff up here and no one's around to see it. Why do I even bother keeping you guys here?" I really like. Yeah, I really like that. But yes, of course, we end up going to 1969, and we're involved in the space race a little bit. Apollo 11.
I just gotta say, before you continue on, you've got to have loved this episode because
yeah,
part of it.
Yeah, it was good. Like, yeah, I love anything. Obviously, I love anything to do with space, and, space, and NASA, and yeah, especially in the 60s was such a huge time for that stuff, and it was monumental and game changing, and it's always fun when people can kind of recontextualize historical events in their own world, and kind of give it an additional meaning that, so the fact that, we're skipping ahead a little bit, like the fact that, the silence, everything was building up to the moon landing, like that was. So I liked how that was their part of their plan. Like the reason humans went to the moon was because they pushed them there.
Yeah.
And
Humans
then
are too stupid
yeah, and
to
then of
get there
course
by themselves. I like that in sci-fi.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
humans are shit.
Well, yeah, because doesn't the Doctor say something like, why did humanity suddenly decide to go to space?
Yeah.
Like back then, like 'cause when they really were pushing the boundaries of technology at that time. But like,
That reminds me of a past episode where it was the David Tennant one where I think it was the beast of the deep, and these group of explorers is like, the reason why we want to go there is because it was there. And the Doctor says, "You guys are amazing. I want to give you a hug." And it just reminded me, it's like, yeah, humans are dumb. We are sheep that are led to the slaughter.
Yeah, you did something cool.
Well done. Have a biscuit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we're in 1969, and then we get to see a certain younger version of Canton Everett Delaware III, and he is played by none other than Mark Sheppard.
Who
Holy
dat?
crap!
Well, I will also mention old
Yes.
Canton Delaware is his dad
In real life. Yes.
in real life. It's William Morgan Sheppard.
That's oh my. Okay. That's what Mark Sheppard talked about at his Supernova panel that I saw like a year and a half ago. He mentioned the Doctor Who, because someone asked him about the Doctor Who thing, and he mentioned that, and he talked about his dad being in Doctor Who and how big that was, and oh my god, mind blown. I completely forgot. I completely forgot about all that. Thanks for bringing that up. Thank you.
That's all right.
Yes, that's right, because he was playing a younger version and his dad was playing the older version of the same character. Yeah. Yes. Oh my, how the fuck did I forget? What an idiot. Humans are dumb. Anyway, so Mark Sheppard, very, very talented actor. Most people know him from Supernatural, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really different and interesting to hear him do an American accent. He doesn't do that very often. So it took a bit for me to get used to that, and not his traditional British drawl, as I like to call it. Yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, seeing him was really cool. This former FBI agent being recruited back in and set up a meeting with President Nixon.
Aroo! My fellow Africans, Nixon is back. Aroo!
Nixon is back. And then one of the other, I can't remember if it was Secret Service or FBI. I'm guessing Secret Service. Did you guys notice who one of the other Secret Service agents was?
Yes.
Yes, Mike did. Fulya may have missed it. So Fulya, do you remember the High Evolutionary in Guardians 3?
Maybe.
Anyway, so one of the Secret Service agents was Chukwudi Iwuji, who's in Guardians 3 as the High Evolutionary. He's also in
Peacemaker.
And I was about to say, thank you, yes.
But I got there first.
You did. You wanted to get in there and beat me.
Yeah. I've seen other stuff besides Doctor Who.
But yeah, I was so surprised, and I was just like, oh, like I recognized that voice and that face straight away. I'm like, that's fantastic. So it was really cool to see a couple of familiar faces here. Yeah, I loved Mark Sheppard in these 2 episodes. Not to skip ahead, but yeah, he was. I really liked the way he, seemed like he was going to be a villain, and then he wasn't. He's always on the Doctor's side. I really like him quite a bit, and then the little twist about his character at the end was fun. Yeah, I had a kick out of seeing him, and then that scene of just the TARDIS being in the Oval Office, and then like that moment when Nixon turns around and sees the Doctor just taking notes about everything, and yeah, it was that whole exchange and the initial, the Doctor being in the White House and everything, and them getting used to the idea of who he is and the TARDIS and everything, and it was so much fun.
There was a lot of tension in that room, I will say.
There was a lot of tension.
The first meeting of the Doctor in the Oval Office with the President.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, it's just like all this tension that you could just cut with a freaking knife.
Cut it with a knife. Yeah, Fulya, what did you think of seeing Mark Sheppard in these episodes?
Yeah, it was nice to see his face again, because I don't really get to see much of the stuff that he works on very often. So, the fact that I get to revisit the Doctor Who episodes and he's in it, and I'm just like, yeah, he's in it. But it's just so weird because he's in a British show, but not being British. It's just a little weird in that respect. But yeah, it was nice to see Mark Sheppard playing a really interesting role, and the fact that that he got wrongfully, well, back in the times it wouldn't have been seen that way, but he was wrongfully what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh.
Dishonorably discharged or something.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, pretty much. And so just because he wanted to get married, but then we don't realize why that was the case until the end. So it was really interesting. So his character had some layers to him. It was nice to sort of see. And then because I hadn't seen these episodes for a very long time, I completely, like, my mind was wiped the last time I watched this. So
you couldn't remember silence?
No, silence. Yeah, completely didn't realize that when we saw him locking up the Doctor and all that sort of stuff later on in the second episode and all that sort of stuff, and my brain was like, wait, hold on, he's on the other side of this now. What's going on? But yeah, no, it was nice that the Canton Delaware character had some complexities, and it was interesting to sort of see where it all led.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about you, Mike? Did you get a kick out of seeing the younger Canton and then the interactions in the Oval Office with Nixon and how that all played out?
Yeah, if you're going to do a period piece involving the space race, why don't you just settle of showing the President of the United States, even though it's Nixon, I mean, he's got his own baggage anyway. And yeah, not to jump forward, but knowing Nixon, he wouldn't help Clayton out anyway. If you haven't heard the audio from when he was on the phone, Nixon on the phone with Reagan, and they were making fun of gay people dying of AIDS, I don't think he would have fucking cared. So anyway, history. It's always kicks you in the ass. But seeing, the iconography of the TARDIS, like, in the Oval Office is kind of a buzz. It's like, yeah, we can go anywhere, time, space, and also a cloaking device, which I'm trying to remember if we've seen that before or not. But no doubt, if there's a chameleon circuit where it can change into anything, surely it can be cloaked. And River being the more knowledgeable would actually show up and actually know how to fly the TARDIS because the Doctor showed her in the future. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, what else? Yeah, and just fighting against the silence. And where's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the next big moment we get is Amy's encounter with one of the silence in the bathroom, and I really loved this scene, as showing off how bad and how like void of kind of emotion, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. You could maybe call them evil, I guess. That the silence are, because they're just creepy as hell to look at. Like, number one, they did a really cool job with the makeup and the costuming on these creatures. They look really, really, really great. And yeah, and then the horrific thing that if you're looking away from them, you forget them. Like, this was the first, like, we obviously got a taste of that earlier, but like this was the first scene where we were like, oh shit, okay, like that poor woman is the wrong place, wrong time, and she keeps like turning away and turning back and saying the same thing. And I really loved how she remembered saying it, because of course she would, because you're not forgetting that stuff, you're forgetting looking at the creature. So I thought that was really clever, but really sad, because then she was killed, and it was like, oh, okay. But like, it's just such a good, clever antagonist to have. Like, you forget them as soon as you walk out of the room. Like, I kind of liked how they were able to combat.
Not even walk out the room. It's literally once you break contact with them. It's like you
Well,
look away,
yeah.
and all of a sudden you're like, oh.
I was just speaking generally.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. Because it's like that moment of like, oh great, now Amy's gonna leave and go tell the doctor, and then as soon as she walks out, you get that flourish in the score, and you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's completely forgotten, and she didn't go to the bathroom either. So she also needs to pee still. Yeah, Fulya, how did you go, as someone who's obviously not a horror fan? And these aliens remind me of the Weeping Angels a little bit, just in terms of their sinisterness and the fact that they kind of have to do with sight as well. So how did they go for you? How did the silence work for you, especially with like this opening sort of scene of seeing what they can do?
So, knowing that I had seen this particular alien previously, it didn't have the same effect on the second watch through. In terms of, they were like, I mean, they're still creepy and like ugly looking, but I'm still like, it just didn't have that same sort of anxious effect, I suppose, when you see them for the first time. And so for me, it was like, oh yeah, I remember these guys. And so I was comfortable enough that I could actually watch through it without feeling any of that anxiety. But that whole sort of that bathroom scene with Amy in there, and the poor lady that got obliterated, essentially. I kind of sort of like that interaction with the American lady and the silence, that every time she turned around to Amy, she'd forget, and then she'd be like, what are you talking about? What, and Amy's just like, just turn around, and every time, and it just happened like quite a few times before the silence just decided just get rid of her. And I was like, okay, I don't like this particular version of this. I don't like this enemy. This is very uncomfortable. It's like, I don't like the idea of forgetting that something's there, but then turning around, seeing it, and then turning back around and not remembering it. And I was just, that, yay. Just sort of kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of like a like, I don't know, like dementia or something, maybe, almost. It just kind of how I felt that would feel. Like, maybe not at that capacity, at that height in terms of forgetfulness, but like, I feel like that's what that would pretty much be, essentially, just forgetting things like 2 seconds later.
Just like blackout sort of moments. Yeah. There
are times where I have like these random blackout moments where I'm like, like that I don't remember what I'm doing when I walk into a room, and I'm going there with purpose, but then I completely forget because my brain's getting distracted with other things. But yeah, this particular scene in the bathroom was very like uncomfortable. We'll just put it that way.
Yes.
Mm.
Mike, how did it go for you? What do you make? What do you make of the silence? Obviously, we don't know at this point in the episode who they really are, but what do you think
No.
of them?
It was a unique sort of foil because yeah, it does have the sort of element of what the Weeping Angels are, all to do with sight and and memory, and how that's a factor, and also the aesthetic of them being, you know, if we're doing with 1960s space travel and we're going to like Area 51 in the second episode, and we're going to deal with like aliens and out of all of them, they are quintessentially looking like what aliens would look like. So the subtle hint of it's still in your mind, and if you draw it by like if people subconsciously have still dream about these and sort of still have that image, it would look like an alien, and that's sort of the world building, and also the scene in the bathroom of actually learning what are the rules behind this creature is also fascinating as well. Instead of Amy going through the thing, because you can't really have a main character. It's like going through the motions of looking at it, forgetting, looking at it, then you would forget what's happening. So you have to witness someone actually getting the effect done on them, and then it's like, okay, we can't, we don't need you anymore. Kill. So it's a writing thing, but I do appreciate it, and it was really good. And these creatures just look wet and just awful, and just constant and and really good. And it's great to see them here. Will they turn up in next episodes?
Yes, that's what I'm very curious about. My money's on yes. My money's on yes.
I'm managed on no, just to keep it even.
Which is interesting because you know exactly what happens. So
I could be wrong. Maybe not in this timeline.
Okay, so basically, the president was getting these phone calls. This is the reason that Canton was called in. The president is getting these weird phone calls from this little girl, and she's like, come and help me, find me, save me, all this stuff. And then they end up tracking her down to where the calls are coming from. And I believe it was at in Florida at the launch site of Apollo 11, in one of the buildings there. And that's when we also get like our first, like we get to see the spaceman again, and it's a bit of a freak out moment for everybody, especially for Amy. But yeah, there's yeah, and then they find the really like these tunnels that are under there, but they're really old tunnels, like they've been there forever and ever, according to River. So, and apparently they kind of go under the surface of the entire planet. So,
ancient aliens.
Yes, ancient aliens. Especially, they go exploring under these tunnels, and then of course there's the silence everywhere, waiting for them. But I think for me these scenes were really good in this episode, like in terms of hyping up the drama and the tension and stuff. But like my favorite scene of this episode was the scene with River and Rory. And River's telling him about her and the Doctor's relationship, and the way that their time works, and the fact that she knows her death is coming, and she seems to just know that it's coming, because she's getting to, like, the first time the Doctor's done this and done that, so she knows things are heading in a bad direction for her, and she knows something bad's going to happen, and like Rory's just really confused, and like, why do you think this? And but I just thought it was really good, and I really enjoy Alex Kingston's performance of River Song, especially in these kind of harrowing sort of moments like this, where she has to kind of really dig into some really interesting places with her character, because her character is very unique, I think. And yeah, so I really liked that stuff. Fulia, did you have any thoughts on all of this stuff before we get to the end of the episode?
Yeah, look, I still am a little confused about River and the Doctor's relationship and the way that she explained it, even though she's sort of moving forward and he's going backwards, kind of a thing. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember.
Well, that's her perspective. But
yeah, that's
we're watching the Doctor going forward, so she's going backwards.
Yeah, essentially. So yeah, it's sort of an interesting sort of a moment that we got with River and Rory, where they're sort of just having this kind of almost a heart-to-heart kind of a sort of a scene, where she's sort of just explaining their relationship. And yeah, it was a nice sort of a moment to calm down. It's like calm before the storm, essentially. Just to sort of kind of like a false sense of hope, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting. It also gave Rory some things to think about as well. Even though Rory looked like he was just as confused as me. But yeah, no, it was yeah, Alex Kingston does a great job in her performance, and she's a wonderful actor. And yeah, just sort of seeing her being, portraying River Song, and spoilers, sweetie. There's a lot more to her than meets the eye, essentially, that we're all sort of learning as the episodes go on. So
Yeah. No, this is true. Mike, what did you make of like this scene between River and Rory? What did you get out of it?
Yeah, it's very poignant of where these characters are, and just with River's explaining where she's coming from, because she can't really explain it to the Doctor, because complicated relationship, like their relationship is very complicated, and yeah, and I do enjoy River, and she does, and in this series she does become like pretty much the third companion throughout this whole thing, because she is a favorite for many people, because her story is very unique to Doctor Who, and having said that, her, after she sort of doesn't do much on-screen River anymore, she definitely does like the Big Finish audio dramas as well, where they introduce River to classic Who Doctors, which is kind of fun, as well as how they deal with that, and yeah, and there's also novels and everything, and people are saying, hey, can we have River back? I mean, she still looks the same. I mean, there's only a couple of there's sort of a limited time to do something with her. I mean, a lot of people were petitioning for River to be in a Jodie episode and see how that dynamic happens. So,
I would have loved that.
yeah.
That would have been cool.
But we got what we got, and it looks like it looks like there's probably a nice well, we sort of seen the ending at the start of River Song, so who knows? So I'm happy. Next episode, up before
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, where Amy shoots a kid in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, well, first problem, one, Amy says she wants to tell the doctor something, and then it's the fact that apparently she's pregnant, and then she shoots she shoots a kid because she thinks it's the astronaut that kills the doctor, and maybe it is, but like she just acts on pure instinct and is like, no, this is not happening. I'm killing you so you don't kill the doctor, blah, 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 whatever. And then, shoots a kid in the face. And then the way the doctor, like, yells, like, no, like, just like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Slow-mo. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm going to shoot this kid in the face.
Yes, this is where some of my issues with Amy Pond. Good old Amy Pond. What a delight she is.
Such a fan.
I'm such a fan. I really am. Yes, some of the issues for her in this arc start here. Fulya, what did you make of this cliffhanger ending?
Yeah, look, for whatever reason, my brain went to, wait, if she said that she's pregnant, is this her kid in the future? What's happening here? I feel like there's that kid has a connection with her, and it might be her child. That's kind of where my brain's going with this. So, I think obviously Amy doesn't see that in this particular scene. It's sort of like she's tunnel vision to the fact that it's that astronaut from the beach, and the astronaut needs to go. And I don't care what happens, even if I am changing history, I need to kill her.
I must kill.
But yeah, so that was a little weird. The fact that she just like grabs a gun, it's like, I don't care, I need to shoot her.
Yeah.
It's a two-barter.
It's a child. You're shooting a child. Who knows what that thing was in that year when the astronaut killed the doctor at the beginning. This may not be that person. Probably someone else. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did find that to be strange and a little concerning.
She doesn't think rationally, let's just say that.
No, like I said, tunnel visioned.
Visioned. Yes, you put the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. She's highly emotional. It's like Moffat can write women. Sweet.
Totally. Anyway, Mike, what did you think of how the first episode ends?
Jarring as hell. And just jarring as hell.
Jarring as hell.
Let's get into the good bit.
Yeah. Let's get into the good bit. Okay, so our second episode, Day of the Moon, our second part of this story, begins in a really cool way. It's we get a time jump. We're jumping forward, I think it's 3 months. Yeah, 3 months later. We're now at July 1969. the launch of Apollo 11 is imminent. And Canton has been hunting down River, Amy, and Rory. But then it turns out it's all part of a ruse. At first, I was like, "What's going on?" I know he's not actually killing them, like when he was shooting them, like the whole body bag thing. But still, that was I was just like, really, I liked you, Canton, and now you're a jerk face. And then it was like, oh, sorry, I called you a jerk face, Canton. I'd take it back. That was a fun little twist. And then, of course, the other revelation of they've learnt more about the silence in the time between the two episodes, and we know that, like, with we kind of pick up pretty quickly that all the marks on their skin means those are the times that they've seen one, like they've encountered one, because they've lost time or they don't know what's happening, sort of thing. So that's cool. A lot of well-paced sort of exposition stuff that happens at the beginning of this episode. And yeah, like you said earlier, Mike, we get those iconic locations, the Hoover Dam and the Valley of the Gods in Utah, and the Empire State Building. And I just love River Song jumping off the building, knowing she's going to land in the TARDIS. Like, just it's just very good. I liked the way this kicked off, and just it kind of almost like negated what happened at the end of the first episode a little bit, but it didn't bother me too much. I don't know. I thought it was fine. What did you think, Fulya?
Yeah, it was definitely an intense way to start an episode.
Yeah.
Like, they're all being hunted down by the Secret Service. It's like, oh no, what's going to happen now? They can't be killed. Oh, it's because they've seen aliens, and no, we can't have that. Can't have them running around spreading rumors. So, yeah, I was kind of similar with you. Even on this second rewatch, like I said, it's almost like I'm watching it for the first time. I completely forgot that it was all part of a plan. When Canton was hunting them down and shooting them, and putting them into body bags, and I didn't realize what was happening. And then, to the point where, we get to I think we go back to, is it back at Area 51?
Yeah, Area 51, where they're keeping the Doctor.
They're keeping the Doctor. Doctor's
Keeping
got
the
this
alien.
shaggy beard happening.
Shitty beard.
Looks really
shitty beard.
It's really bad. It's almost as if the Doctor can't grow a beard. Oh, man. And they're just building this black brick sort of a cube that where every time a brick is sort of attached to the next one, the seam you lose the seams. It's just disappears.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a seamless box essentially. So it was that box was a very sci-fi thing to do. Especially considering the way that it opens and closes its door, which was really, really interesting. And yeah, it was this whole sort of plan of trying to hide the fact that they're going to get out of there without the Secret Service knowing about it, or the people at Area 51 knowing about it, because they were guarding them and all that sort of stuff. And it's funny, I know I'm kind of skipping ahead here. By the end of it, they're like, "You were in there for days. What the hell have you been doing?"
Growing a beard.
So, yeah, the way that they kicked off this episode was high intensity, but it was enjoyable, to say the least.
Nice. What about you, Mike? Did you like this beginning to the second part?
Yeah. Trying to remember. I think it's because after Amy did her thing, late-term abortion. Anyway, having said that, with the big thing happening, and then all of a sudden, months have passed. It's like, oh shit, what's going on? And just getting the rush back again, and then it's all for none. And it's like, okay, cool. What happens now? Like, I think this is where I sort of get the inkling. It's like, it's moving a bit too fast, and there's a lot of exposition, like big exposition dump, and this is what's been happening, and then they find themselves in the TARDIS, and you need another explanation of what the TARDIS is to the newcomer, which is always fun. But he didn't get to go around the TARDIS like they usually do. It's like, it's bigger inside than out.
Yes, that whole.
But I did enjoy. We got up to where Rory was explaining. It's like we got up to time, but not space.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny, though, just as like a different way of doing the same thing, because you obviously can't have the exact same dialogue exchange every time with new characters that see the TARDIS. And it kind of just made me laugh, like like Rory just being like, I tried to tell him the whole thing, like I wasn't slacking, you know.
But we're going too quick.
We are going very fast, yes. Okay, speaking of going fast, let's speed things up. Moving to our next bit. The teams kind of split off a bit. And you know, we get one very amusing location which I really enjoyed, was, you know, the Doctor helping himself to the Apollo 11 module, and then having to have Nixon called in, to having to, you know, kind of save him from getting in trouble. That was a funny moment. I really like that, especially the part where, you know, Rory's there and he's pretending to be, you know, someone official, and he's in 60s period costume and the glasses and everything. But he made me laugh when he was like, America salutes you, and then he just did the most awkward. Like, bless his soul. I love Rory. He's great. He's really good.
Broke the model.
Yeah, he did.
Unintentionally,
but he broke it. Yeah, Fulya, what did you think about these scenes at NASA with the Doctor and the President and everything?
Yeah, look, it was good fun to just sort of see that all sort of play out. And yeah, they were like, just the fact that these engineers, you know, caught the Doctor. How the heck did he get up there? You know, what is he doing? Is he gonna compromise something? Hello, this guy needs to go.
Yeah.
But they also got to the point where even though the president came in, they were almost like, but sir, how did he get there? Why is he there? Like, this is unlawful. This is unheard of. You know, we can't just let him go. But yeah, it was good fun, because it was almost like the dad came in to tell the siblings to stop fighting and just let him go kind of a situation. That's kind of how I felt in that scene where he's caught up and they don't want to let him go, and then Nixon's just like, just let him go. He's helping me on a personal project, so I need him.
Here's one of the good ones, Arrow.
Yeah, Mike, what did you make of it?
Good get out of jail free card of just having the American president off hand. Also, little tidbit, when Moffat was writing this, he wanted the Apollo 11 NASA thing for this particular episode, the story. all throughout the story. And he looked up, it's like, oh, it would be cool if we can get like the American president. And he looked up who the president want, and he said, oh, not that one. I don't want Nixon. Are you sure we couldn't get Kennedy in or make up a president? Nah, I suppose we're gonna have to do Nixon. Let's just do little subtle jabs. We can't really go full on Nixon rat fuckers and Watergate. but you get what you get. So Nixon, good guy, maybe.
Yeah, I found that interesting that they sort of not redeeming him, but they, like, cause we're used to seeing Nixon in dramatized fashion as like not the greatest. He doesn't really leave behind a good legacy. And then I kind of actually was feeling sad for him by the end of this when like he asked the doctor like what becomes of him or whatever, like, or do I leave behind a good, was I a good president sort of thing? And I'm just like, oh, buddy.
Tricky.
Tricky Dicky, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
that was
will
funny.
be remembered.
Yes, that's right. He's like, will I be remembered? I think that's what he asks. Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
Aru.
And then, yes, the other location we have, one of the other locations we have is Amy and Canton have gone to this orphanage, and it's just creepy as hell. It seems to be invaded by the silence, as we see, because the poor man running this place
Dr. Renfrew.
Yes, he thinks it's still 1967 and that they're not closing the orphanage for a few months yet. And then Canton's like, it's 1969. This place has been closed for years. I'm sorry to tell you this. But yeah, he's so creepy and talking about, it must be the children and little weird things that he's saying. And like but I kind of like that element. And then like just the writing on the wall, the whole like, what, get out, leave now, leave me alone. Like all these pleas from these kids, because they're seeing they're seeing, or someone's seeing the silence, and then they're not seeing him, and there's just this whole thing. And
it was him.
Yeah. He's writing on the wall.
He's writing on the wall, and he's also rubbing it off, and then running it back on.
Because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I was just immediately like, okay, Amy decides to venture off away, and I'm like, she's gonna run to them. Like, why are we doing this show?
Yeah. Because they got a beepy thing in their hand.
Yes, I liked that addition. We should mention the fact that they put the voice recorder in their palms, so they could, if they saw their palm be like flashing, they knew that they'd seen one of them. I kind of liked that. In the first episode we have this, just we see them having the exchanges and them forgetting them, but now it's
progressed from the texter.
Yeah, but it's like they progress from the texter, but then also it makes it even more terrifying, I think, because they'll just see their hands start to flash. Yeah. And we're with them. We don't see what they see because they're only showing us what they know, and I just thought that was really clever. But yeah, things don't go well for Amy. And there's a really terrible scene where there's just a million of them on the ceiling, and I didn't like that. I mean, I liked it because it creeped me out, but I didn't like
bats.
Yeah, it was so eerie. Ugh. And then there's that scene of her in the kid's bedroom, and some woman with a metal eye patch talking about her dreaming, and then she vanishes, and then there's a picture of Amy and a kid, and it's just, oh my god, I feel like this is teasing future stuff. But that's how I feel about it. Anyway, Fulya, how do you feel about the this children's place where there are no children and there's only alien monsters.
Yeah, look, this broken down orphanage just definitely gave me chills. And not the good stuff, not the good kind either. It was very creepy, very dark and ominous, and I was like, oh, they're probably here too. Like they're gonna be everywhere. they're an infestation.
Kill it with fire.
Get it with fire. Yeah, it was very interesting to sort of see those scenes at the orphanage with this doctor who sort of lives in this building, not realizing that, you know, time has passed and he's just sort of stuck there thinking that there's children there, but there isn't. But there's also like this one sort of line that he has that he mentions that he has to look after this one particular child. It's like I've been told I need to look after this little girl, and you're all sort of like, as the viewer, kind of thinking, does he mean that kid in the astronaut suit? Like, what's happening here?
Could be.
Yeah. So it was really weird, and you could definitely tell that he was off his marbles. Like he definitely lost it. He lost the plot a long time ago. Yeah, yeah. Just very unsure of himself, not confident at all, and just constantly trying. And you can tell that he's trying to remember things, but he can't because a lot of things have happened for him, but to him it hasn't. Because every time he sees the silence and then looks away, and it really messed him up. Essentially, it really messed him up.
Yeah, really. Like, kind of a case of seeing what the prolonged effect of constant exposure to that. It's like you were saying with the dementia thing. Like, this is like a very extreme case. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, the part where we get to see Amy sort of go off on her own, and when Cantor tells her to, and then goes into this room, and it just, you know, that there's this creepy vibe of an empty, rundown orphanage bedroom where kids used to sleep, and just all these broken furniture and toys and whatnot. But then all of a sudden the door closes on its own. And then you're like, oh, here we go. that you know, the whole thing with, especially with, I wouldn't know because I've never watched any horror films, but I assume this is what happens in horror films when things like this happen, that they're about to die.
Yeah.
Basically.
Long story short, yeah.
Yeah. Then finds out, I can't open this door. It's locked. It's from the outside. Blah blah blah. Yeah, but that moment where she looks up and all of a sudden there's like hundreds of them just hanging there, sleeping, and I'm just like, oh, that's yuck.
Yucko.
Chilling. I'm just like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. Like, Amy, get the F out of there.
Yeah. Leave.
Yeah. It's essentially their hive. That orphanage has turned into their hive.
Yeah. It's home base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very creepy.
Yes, indeed. Mike, what did you make of the orphanage stuff?
I liked it. Being all creepy and just having like a guy just losing so much time that he thinks it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's creepy on itself.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Hope he gets out. Hope he's all right. I want to see a story about him. If he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love the creepy vibes that Doctor Who does every now and again, of just unsettling, just it's the being scared behind the sofa bit, and it does not disappoint because it's creepy and ill.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Not much else. That's all right. That's fine. Cool. Well, Amy gets kidnapped. And and then we get some really kind of, I don't know. I guess I keep using the word harrowing, but it's a good word. Rory having to hear her in real time. Like they're like, oh, is this a recording? Like, because he's got her recorder. It's come out of her hand or whatever, or whatever it is. He can hear her in real time, and and he just is just completely devastated. So and then she's been, because of the whole memory thing, she thinks she's been there for not very long. Like she still thinks it's the same day, but actually she's been captured for quite some time. It's been a few days. So and then obviously we get into our climax of the episode, and the way that they figure out how to beat them. And I was going to say it earlier, but when I was talking about how historical events kind of can be used to, a recontextualization of them in media like this. And I like the fact that they end up using, like, the Doctor's like, oh, okay, you guys decided to, manipulate things so that humans would go to the moon. Well, how about I take your plan and actually use it to kill you, or to defeat you? I thought that was really cool. Like using the broadcast of Neil Armstrong on the moon. Because earlier on in the episode, there's a line where the Doctor's like, I'm going to use Neil Armstrong's foot to save everyone. And I was like, what does he mean by that? And then at the end, it's, oh, okay, one small step for man, and that whole thing. So, so very clever.
Yeah, Neil's big blunder.
Neil's big blunder.
Couldn't get the speech out.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have took a different take.
Maybe they should have. They should have.
Because it was pre-recorded.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
fake.
It was pre-recorded and everything's fake. Fulya, what did you think about the this stuff with the silence and how they were able to stop them and save everyone?
I wasn't sure what was happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's good.
Huh? How are they going to kill them?
What?
Honestly, I still don't even understand how that even worked. With the whole phone and the thing, and I was like, huh?
It was a bit confusing, I will also say. I was like, I think I missed it because I feel like the Doctor was probably explaining it really quickly, and okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I was trying to listen to what he was saying, but it didn't stick.
Yeah.
So I was quite confused to the point where I was like, do I really need to rewind this and understand what's going on? But I was running out of time, so I'm like, no, don't worry about it. But yeah, no, it was interesting to see that they used the broadcasting against them, and then all of a sudden they broadcasted this video recording of the silence saying what he said, and then just goes all over TV, and then because of that, everybody sees them and they get brought into the room with them. Which was interesting. And then, from there, it was just more of a, all right, well then, I suppose because of that, people decided to get rid of him somehow in their own way. I don't know.
Kill them.
Kill them, yeah, pretty much. But there's the other thing that I had, like, in terms of the way that I was thinking about this, my brain went to, the Doctor always mentions the fact that he doesn't like the idea of killing, doesn't matter who they are, what they are, alien or not, he doesn't want to kill them generally. And most of the time, he doesn't like the idea of a genocide because that's pretty much what happened to his race. And so because of that, he's against it. but then here in these particular episodes, he's okay with killing them or with them dying in some respect. So I'm not quite sure. Like, I feel like there's a bit of a contradiction here. I don't know. Yeah. This is how I'm thinking about
I
it
got an
all at the
idea.
moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lister, let's hear your thoughts.
Yes, go for it.
Let's kill them. That's my idea. After I couldn't really remember how they thwarted this particular enemy, and I still don't, even after watching. But it sort of reminded me of the Idiot's Lantern, that episode where the Doctor goes back to the coronation, like this big thing that's on TV, and
Yeah.
sort of same, but not really. And just having people. Yeah, it's sort of the same thing as the Weeping Angels. Does it still work even if it's an image? Apparently not. And you get to see aliens. Everyone saw aliens, and then what started crop circles. Did this start like people seeing aliens for the first time? It's like little grey people running around. It's like, let's get them, and then people thought they were crazy. So unresolved issues, maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. Sort of weak sauce for me overall, and yeah, but everything's sorted, I guess.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Or is it? Because I feel like shit's gonna come back. Yeah, so a couple of things I want to quickly just speed run through before we finish.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a bit about River and River Song and her relationship with the Doctor. Obviously we get this moment where they're parting ways and she's going back to prison and all this, and then she kisses him, and he's like arms flailing, like
Has no idea what to do with his arms.
What do I do here? And it's very funny. And she's like clearly into it, and it's it's kind of a weird, sweet, awkward moment, I suppose. But then there's just that moment where she realizes that's he's never been kissed like that before. Like they've never done this. Rather, they've never done this. And that makes her go, fuck. This is the first time. This is our first kiss. You're fit for him. That means it's her last. And I just kind of like that moment of, oh fuck.
Her realization.
Whoopsie poopsie.
Whoopsie poopsie. And then by in the opposite sense of frustrating romance, if you will, Amy. I'm just gonna rant about Amy for a second because it was the heat of the moment, I know, and so Rory was a bit weird for taking this too personally, but like she called him stupid and he got really offended. And that I mean, it wasn't great. And he took that personal, and then so that's problem number one. And then problem number two, even bigger problem, is the fact that she tells the Doctor first that she's pregnant, doesn't tell Rory, but then he finds out anyway because of the whole voice recorder thing that she just happened to forget about. Or maybe she didn't realize that he could hear her, and I don't know. But then immediately she's like, you're eavesdropping, and then just the moment between them when, like, they're supposed to both be, husband and wife, finding out that they're having a kid, and it wasn't there for me. But again, it's just the way Amy always acts around the Doctor. Doctor is number one. She's talks about him like he's her husband, and just poor Rory is just suffering on the outskirts. He's the third fucking wheel here, and the Doctor's not interested. Like, he's made that very clear. That's not what he's about. and Amy can't fucking get the hint. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like any of it. It's bad. Bad Moffat. Go away. Fucking take your shit pregnancy infidelity bullshit elsewhere. I don't want it anymore. I don't care if you're trying to create tension. It's bad. It's so bad. How does anyone...
Something that should have been sorted at the end of the previous season, but they decided to put it here. It's sorted, really.
It's sorted.
She chose Rory.
She chose Rory, exactly, and she still loves the Doctor. And there's no...
Who doesn't?
I mean, the Doctor's amazing, yeah.
He's so cute with his bow tie.
And his fez.
And his fucking fez, yes.
Yeah, it's all a bit... Yeah, I don't like it. I don't get why they're still doing this storyline, but here we are. And then the episode ends with the 6 months later, and then we see the little girl again, and then she regenerates.
Yeah.
I have questions that I'm sure will be answered eventually, but that was quite shocking. So I'm looking forward to getting into those discussions down the road. Definitely not for now. Fulya, let's wrap this up. How did you feel about any of what I just said?
Yeah, look, I don't blame you about, Amy and the way that she behaves around Rory and the Doctor and all that sort of stuff. And I'm kind of similar in the sense that, she really needs to, they need to break up. The Doctor and Amy need to break up. Take some time away. Spend more of your time with your actual husband.
Oh, they did. At the start of the overall episode, they were at home, settling in, and the Doctor was gallivanting. There's that.
Bit more.
Because
her mind was her mind was still stuck on him. Even then. So I don't
Hard to get rid of.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Kendall. It's like
it's frustrating.
I get it. He's a bit annoying.
It's very frustrating. Yeah. Yes.
But I feel like that's not Karen Gillian's fault.
Oh no. I am. This is my ire is not directed at Karen Gillan.
No. I know.
Karen
she does
Gillan
a good job with what she's been given.
Yes.
I will give her that. But you're right. The writing is very... Yeah. It's something. So, look. I'll leave it there. You've already pretty much explained everything that I'll probably end up repeating.
No, that's fine. I'll take it. Thank you.
And and the way that we end the episode, that kid that regenerates, my brain thinks that's the Doctor's daughter. Riva Song and Doctor's daughter. That's where my brain goes.
Jenny? Is Jenny?
Jenny.
Georgia Tennant?
It can't be Amy's kid. Because they wouldn't have done anything like that.
I know, so I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and I don't remember, so that's just how that works with me.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
There you go.
Very. Now I'm keen to find out if I'm right.
Love it. All right, Mike, take us home. Your thoughts on the last few little bombshells of this episode.
I think the Rory and Amy thing, I think it's pretty much nipped in the bud of where they stand and how everything. I think if memory serves, this definitely is like the nail on the coffin on Amy being overly flirtatious with the Doctor and all that, because you got River on the other side. So as long as River's around, those two can flirt as much as they want, and it's lovely. And then you got it's the two couples double dating. So there you go. There's that. Yeah, and I will not speculate on the little girl because I cannot talk about it without spoiling it. So spoilers, sweetie. There you go.
There you go.
I will add. Sorry, I will add that I was reading the Wikipedia and then it said something with the original broadcast of it. There was in memoriam as well. This was in dedicated to Elizabeth Sladen. So this is around the same time where Sarah Jane
passed away.
So
Sad.
yes, it was sad, and everyone thought, well, no more Sarah Jane adventures, no more Elizabeth Sladen, and I think there's another one as well coming up as well, but I'll talk about when we get there.
Indeed you do. All right, well, that's it. That's done.
Yes.
That is the episode finito. Those are our thoughts on Series 6, Episodes 1 and 2 of Doctor Who, The Impossible Astronaut, and Day of the Moon. That was epic. Epic. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. That was very good. But that is it for our show. That's our Talkin' Who. That's our popcorn culture. It's time to head on out. Yes. A 1, a 2, a 3.
And that
was a
was
podcast
called Fred. Wrong one.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest Fred content.
If you'd like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head over to youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching us right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of future content just like this one. And if you're watching us live over on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow on your way out, twitch.tv/Fred the Alien Twitch.
Woo!
Yes, I've been a Kendall Richardson.
I've been a Fulya and
And I've been the man who's never been silenced. I've got the things on my hands. Michael Lister.
Oh no.
And
you just experienced a podcast called Fred. Transition.
Or have you?
Oh, may I?
Yes. You were right, that was the easiest cosplay ever. Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and Haru, come here, Agnew.
Okay.
Nice.
Look after yourself and your mental health, everyone.
Yes, very much do. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. Laters, gators. And